So, today is my 21st birthday. I could be drinking, but yeah, no, I won't. Heck, when this video comes out, I'll be in class. So, let's talk about my favorite heisters in the game. We'll be ranking them by my personal opinions, but we'll talk about them in the order they joined the crew, if that makes sense. So, with that said, let's get going. So, Dallas is our baseline. He's a pretty good garden variety heister. He's got some good lines. He's from Chicago. Boom, there he is. Nothing above him, nothing below him. Dallas. Chains. Ugh. I actually like Chains a lot more than Dallas. He's got a really good voice. It's really quick with a bit of smoothness to it, and I really, really enjoy it. And out of everybody in the game, he's the heister I like to see the most backstory for. So, I'm going to place him above Dallas. Definitely above Dallas. Hoxton. Ooh, I go back and forth with Hoxton. He was alright in Payday the Heist, but after the breakout and all that, he's kind of been a bit, I don't know, annoying a little bit. He's always whinging and swearing, like he gets paid by the cuss. That said, I mean, it definitely depends. Again, I go back and forth with Hoxton, but right now I think I prefer Dallas more than I prefer Hoxton. So, Chains, Dallas, Hoxton. Ooh, Wolf. At one point, Wolf put him on the top of this list, but I don't know. He was Ulf's self-insert character, for lack of a better word. And Ulf left the company, but they still parade Wolf around as a mentally unhinged man who they disrespected enough to get YouTube pooped for new lines. It's just such a shameful display. It makes me a little upset. I actually have to drop Wolf to below Hoxton. He's the weakest of the four right now, and I really hope GTFO lives up to expectations. I want to see him do well. Houston's a smaller, more approachable Dallas. I like him a lot. They've given him some good character quirks. They're all pretty good. I like him a little more than I like Dallas, actually, so above Dallas. John Wick was our first crossover character. He was a pretty good first one. He's got really nice voice lines and a good implementation of the character from a film. But he's a film crossover nonetheless, and they really juked the fine folks working to make CrimeFest 2014 a more complete experience by putting John Wick at the top. Oh, you reached your goal, congratulations. Here's a film tie-in character. I'm going to put him below Hox, but above Wolf. He's closer to Hoxton than Wolf, for sure. I enjoy Wick, but that was kind of rude. Clover was my favorite for a long while. I think I like Chains just a bit more right now, but Clover is still probably one of the best additions we've gotten. So, just below Chains. Dragon! Ooh, Dragon's a character I never really enjoyed. He was just so stuck up and rude in the gym and the safe house. If they gave him more characterization this year, maybe he'd go a little higher, but right now I'm going to put him just above Wolf. But not by terribly much. It's not that I don't like Dragon. He's a good actor. It's just, I don't like the character. Jacket's a character I don't like because I can't hear him all too well. Maybe I just have like sensory processing issues or whatever, but the cassette static in his lines is just a little too overblown for me to hear what he's saying, especially in the middle of a gunfight. And that's even more problematic because he's often incredibly verbose. Still, some of his lines are neat, and the pack as a whole is a pretty good crossover. It's not Wick good, but he's above Dragon. Bunny is big. I actually still think Bunny is one of our best examples of a mold breaker character. She's a completely different body type than the rest of the heisters, and while she's mostly a reprint of Clover with a Scottish coat of paint, I still really enjoy the character for what it's worth. I'm putting her just between Chains and Clover. I think I like Bunny a little more, because they really haven't done a character like this since. I mean, we've gotten a lot of frail, thin heisters, but I want more that are like 260 pounds of I could tear you in half with my bare hands. We need more of that. Ooh, Sokol. I don't mind Sokol. I don't particularly like Sokol. He's mean to Jacket, but I don't mind Sokol. His Master of All Trades shtick also really kind of lame for me. Although, the acting's not bad, and everything considered, I'm going to put him between Dallas and Hoxton. I like him more than I like Hoxton, but I like Dallas a little more. Ooh, Jiro. I freaking love Jiro's gimmick. I love his backstory. I love how it concluded in the spring break update. It's so sad and so well done. I don't think every heister needs this much backstory, but if Jiro's just a special case, then it's a very, very good special case. I think I like Clover a bit more, but he's going just under Clover in this list. Bodie is the one film crossover character I think could be rewritten best for Payday 3 into an original character. Between Bodie's pool repair and the fact that his voice actor is Josh Len, the physical actor for Hoxton, I think if we just kind of rewrote the character for Payday 3, I think he could be a mainstay heister. But I think I like Bodie a little more than Wick because I can see the character he could be but isn't, whereas Wick can really only be a movie tie-in. So I'm putting him just above Wick. Ooh, Jimmy's a twofer. He's a film tie-in, and he hasn't gotten any new lines in a long time. I mean, I love his fro, and I love how explosively loud and honest he is in game, but film tie-in and no new lines in so long, those are two cardinal sins I really can't forgive. He's below Wick for that, though if Copley can come back and record more lines, I would probably put him like right around where Hoxton is. Sydney, you know what? No, frickin', you know my stance, frickin'. No, put Sydney in the top spot. Rust. Oh boy, Rust. Not only has he gotten no new lines, but his plotline has led to nothing as of yet, and Ron Perlman has been given such poor direction that he sounds so bored and tired. I wanted to like Rust. I so wanted to like Rust, but I can't. Bottom spot, for sure. Tony. Ooh, Scarface is such a weird film tie-in. I mean, there was no new Scarface film in 2017. There was no major anniversary edition of the movie that came out. And it's such a confusing tie-in. But he's still rather up-to-date, so I gotta put him just above Wolf. He's got more lines and good vocal direction. I really, really actually like the vocal direction. And I think all of that kind of counteracts the fact that he's a film tie-in, so... And just, he's such a weird addition. Do we need Scarface? Sangres! This is a character, again, I see the potential here. But as I mentioned in my video on Payday and media ethics, it's just a lot of wasted potential right now. I wish he was a better representative of Mexican culture instead of just telling us how they do it in Mexico and drinking cheap cervezas while watching a TV that isn't even on. He one-ups Bodie in that he's an original character, so I'm putting him just above Bodie. He's an original character, but there's still potential that Overkill can and probably should find. Duke. We're going to come back to Duke, actually. Gila is my favorite out of the two H3 characters. Her lines are stiff, but she's our first Israeli heister, and I'm not going to say no to another woman on the crew. I'm putting her between Jimmy and Jacket. Jimmy is a lot better of a vocal performance, but Gila's easier to understand than Jacket. And, I mean, I have no real issue with the stiff delivery. It's just, you know, Ethan, though, his lines are really lackluster. He's trying really hard to advertise his channel in the game with 50,000 concurrent players, and it just isn't funny. He's a painful character to listen to. I take it I probably dislike his YouTube channel too, but I don't know. He's got all the problems of Rust, plus he's advertising this comedy channel that to me just looks like a bunch of hats and vaping, and he's also a crossover with the YouTube channel. Can we add 2 empty spots below Rust? Ethan goes below all those. Oh, Joy. You know how I said I wouldn't say no to another woman on the crew? Joy is almost an exception. Her lines are very poorly written. She just kind of calls out arbitrary numbers of points for special unit kills and keeps bragging about Nintendo to Mr. Saul Pagerman. Joy is worse than Wolf in my opinion for that, but it just seems like it's a problem with the writing. It sounds like her VA tried. I mean, it sounds like she was given direction. So, below Wolf, but above Ethan and above Rust. Now, Duke. Back to Duke. This might be a shocker, but I'm actually putting him above Sydney. And I guess this is spoilers for Spring Break 2018. You know what? It's in the FBI files. Whatever. It's implied that Duke is a time traveler via the letter to Desmond. It's only really vaguely implied, but there's still an implication, and that's just awesome. He's like a real old-timey adventurer. It's freaking amazing. Top of the list. Above Sydney. But with that said, I'm probably still going to mostly play Sydney because I love Sydney's, Sydney's got this like perky punk rock attitude, and the hairstyle is just iconic. I love the boots. The outfit is just, it's such a good outfit. It just screams garage punk band from the tail end of the Cold War era, performing their first gig at some British community center or pub. And Georgia Van Cullenberg is a super talented actress with a really delightful voice. Duke's a much better written character, but there's just something charming about Sydney. I don't know. Well, there it is. I've ranked my favorite heisters. Let's just, can we just roll that across the screen in order? And I'll go through that list on my own as well. So at the very top, we got Duke, followed by Sydney, then Chains, Bonnie, Clover. Jiro's in the number 6 spot, Houston in 7, and Dallas in 8. Sokol, Hoxton's number 10, Sangra is Bodie, Wick, Jimmy, Gila at number 15, Jacket, Dragon, Tony, Wolf, Joy, Rust, and Ethan has the very bottom spot. I think with all that said, though, thanks for being a fan, and thanks for making this a totally rad 21st birthday. I'll be here again in a few days to talk about more inane video game content as usual, and till next time, I'll see you around. Oh, look at me! Oh, you ranked everything? Oh, but what about Microsoft Jacket? Who cares about Microsoft Jacket? It's still Jacket. Sounds a little clearer, but I don't like the lines. Same spot. Jacket doesn't move. Oh, but what about Duke Nukem Rust? Shut up! We're not talking mods. Throw this at the end or something. I got myself mad.